Yo,
Yo,
What's up, world? This is your boy, Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, and welcome to another episode of Talking Hoops in the Sip. That's right, Talking Hoops in the Sips. Man, we're excited to be here. It's been a minute. It seemed like it's been forever. We got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I just want to say, first of all, before I go into it, I'd like to thank our sponsors. One of our sponsors, Tatum and Wade Law Firm, located at 124 East Meade Street, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Tatum and Wade are serious lawyers who get serious results. I say if you want to get paid, you need to go to Tatum and Wade. So I'm excited right now to be here with my guys, two young guys who are like some of the top uh, analysts, if you want to call them, basketball people in the country, not just Mississippi, but in the country. We have from Southern Sports Platform, Talante Weber. What up, T Web?
what up with you, Evie? What up, Snacks?
what's
And then we also have the ESPN ESPY Award winner, Thomas Snacks Lee. What up, Snacks?
what's good? What's good? The geeker.
And now just jumping on here, the veteran of the group who's been doing this for a long time, Mississippi Hoop Report, my guy, Lavelle Shoes Johnson. What up, Shoes?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm heading to the house. I decided I'd go on in on the phone until I get to the house.
Yeah, that's what makes that's what makes all of this so authentic. We just get in wherever we fit in. We can be, we might be and this is a bad thing. Well, you could be at a church service. You just go to the bathroom. Man, I'm at church, but I'm gonna jump on right now. They just, they taking up tithes and offerings. So I just skipped out on that, to do the show. And so, but
Don't
anyway,
get nobody no ideas, EV.
huh?
Don't get nobody no ideas.
Hey, listen, we'll have Eddie and Cord on, but a lot of stuff been happening since we last met, not only in the high school, but in college and in the world of pros. Let's go into pros for a quick second. And I'm going to let Talante start off with his guy, a guy that he knows personally, John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant and Memphis Grizzlies, they just ended an 11-game winning streak. Talk to me a little bit about Ja and the Grizzlies, Talante. And let me ask you this. It took a couple questions. Is Ja Morant, in your opinion, a legitimate MVP candidate? And are the Grizzlies a legitimate NBA championship team?
To answer that first question, yes, I do think Josh should be in the top 5 discussion for MVP this season. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I see a lot of people have been posting that he got the same numbers Derrick Rose had when he was the MVP at 22 years old, and I think Ja 21. Yeah, Ja 21 right now. So the numbers are the same. Oh no, John's 22 too, so they're the same age when he won the MVP. The only difference I think players in their numbers, like analytics, are so much better than they were back in 2000. 12, 2011. The numbers just totally different. But he put up the same numbers. And right now, if you think about it, John's one of the biggest names, in the NBA right now. Top 5, you got Curry, of course, you got LeBron, but when you think about the NBA, John, one of the first names that come to mind. The kids love him. Everybody love him. You seen the block like last week. It was probably one of the best blocks you never seen. He caught off the backboard.
Top five.
Top 5 all time, you would say?
I have to put it in my top 5.
Yeah, So you got to think at 22 years old, he just keep blowing up. So somebody asked, was he, had he reached superstar status? I think he have. I don't know what else he can do because he gonna be a starter this year on the All-Star team. So as a superstar, there was a lot of chatter at first when he got injured like a month ago about the Grizzlies were still winning. They didn't need him. But since he came back, he just been on the tear. So you asked, can the Grizzlies win a championship? I don't think so this year, but I think in like a year or two, I definitely think they'll be able to make a deep playoff run with the talent that they have, not just with Ja, but the pieces they got around them. So I think about it, probably about 2020, I'm gonna say 24, 25-ish. I think they'll be legit.
Next, talk to me. It is like, talk to me what you heard Talante, and your favorite player, your guy, KD, is what I call a superstar. Has Ja reached that already, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think he's definitely making the case for himself. He's been putting up great numbers, and like a lot of my people that's in my kind of friend circle, they always get on me because I be making different comparisons. But I got a lot of respect for Ja game. But like I say, I don't know if his style going to ever equate to like winning a championship per se. But as far as like his success thus far, I think he's definitely doing some dynamic things at an early age.
So,
can I say something right quick?
What about you, Shoes?
You said you don't know if his style ever equate to winning the championship. Folks said that about Golden State and Curry when the Splash Brothers first hit. You can't win the championship shooting threes. Man, it ain't about the style. It's about the players. And if he gets the right players around him and enough of the right players, I can see him. I mean, I can't say that I don't think his style could equate to winning the championship. I definitely, he definitely think he could. I mean, but I don't think his playing style would be the deciding factor. I just think it's gonna come down to does he have enough talent around him in the long run? And they're doing pretty good now. But I'm with Delonte. I don't think they honestly can win it this year. But if they keep working, pull a few more strings, get a few of them on the right pieces, who knows? In about 2-3 years, they might really be, because they really still a young team.
You're right.
Stacks, talk to him now. Like, tell me your thoughts on defend what you're talking about when you say his style, or are you talking about the Grizzly style? Or let me ask you this. All right, let me ask you this, because a lot of times people say, I know there's two things that people say about, and I'm one of them that say this, that it's hard for a Russell. Like, I never thought a Russell Westbrook or James Harden, when they're the number one guy, I didn't think they can win a championship. Are you talking like that? Or are you talking like Memphis being, like, as a team, their style as a team?
I'm just saying it's him being the guy. Like, I think long term he's gonna be well. Like, I think he's gonna be better than Russell Westbrook as far as like his style of play. His game. But I don't think, like, if he the guy, I don't think, like, probably long term when all the rest of the guys have to leave, but he can't win, like, in the next 2 to 5 years. He can't win a championship being the guy. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Okay.
Come on,
that's what you're saying. That's what I thought you were saying. I was just, so basically, right now in your mind, he's almost like a young Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that's what.
Nah, at 22,
I'm saying better. I'm saying better. I'm saying better.
Yeah, but what we talking about, like, for me, and again, I'm not making an opinion on it, because I have not seen enough of Ja Morant, so I can't talk about it intelligently, because I haven't seen enough of Ja Morant. But I did see enough of Russell Westbrook, and I just didn't think his style of play, for whatever reason, equated to championship. I thought he was a volume shooter. He was, the triple doubles can trick you, especially in the NBA. You got 48 minutes. I thought he was a shot first guy, didn't get a lot of people involved. And that sounds crazy, because he did get assists. He only passed to me to get the assist, or when his stuff wasn't going. Like, is Ja, how much different, Talante, is Ja than that?
Well, honestly, Ja just got more skill than Russell Westbrook does. You got, like you just said, Russell Westbrook was triple-double hunting. If Ja getting a triple-double, it's off of just, just natural inside the game. you got to think. And like you said, Westbrook jacking shots. Y'all not jacking shots. He's very efficient getting to the basket. You know what I'm saying? He's very efficient doing what he do. And that's getting to the basket with the floater, finishing above the rim, finishing in transition. So it was kind of like Shoes had said, he just good at what he do. He not trying to be Curry. He not trying to be Westbrook. He just Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? So he just do his thing. And I think that's what, in the long run, that's going to carry him because, like you said, he ain't got to shoot the threes. He don't have to make them because he's not taking a lot of three-point shots. He getting to the basket. And it's working for him. He averaging 25 a game right now by just doing what he do, averaging about like 6 rebounds, I think like 7 assists. So, and that's just inside the game. So he's not even trying to do all that. It's just happening naturally for him.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this: we talk about guys good enough to win a championship. Can they win a championship? Man, in my mind, there's a lot of guys that didn't win championships. It wasn't because they weren't good enough, because their playing style of game wasn't good enough. It's because there was just somebody better than their team during that period, during the Bulls period. During the during like through the time when Miami was playing and when Golden State was playing. Teams those teams like the Houston teams were really good enough to win a championship. They just couldn't get by that team. It's a tricky question to say, are they good enough to win a championship? Because only one team can do it. And there's a lot of teams that really are talented and have personnel. The OKC team with Westbrook and Durant, there was no, they were up 3-1. They should have been able to beat Golden State that year. But, I think it's a tricky thing when you start asking, is a player good enough for their team to win a championship? Because everybody that's good enough for their team to win a championship don't win a championship. It just doesn't work out that way all the time. A lot of teams, only one team can win it.
Hey, now, Snatch, now, Shoes made a valid point. Now, you got to remember, KD didn't win a championship until he went to Golden State that was already champions now. Like you said, he went to the team that beat him. He was up 3-1. So that's a great point. Now, we know as great as KD is, he couldn't win by himself. He had to go join, you know what I'm saying, team that was already made.
Right. Team, like you said, he went to a team that was already, experienced and had won a championship. But I mean, if you put him, I feel like if you put Ja, I feel like them two different situations kind of sort of. Like if you go put Ja in another situation with a experienced championship team, I don't feel like, let's just say like if you went and put Ja with the Bucks, they just, you know what I'm saying? They already pretty much got what they got. I don't think as the guy is the front leading horse, I just don't think in that case, like he'll be able to win a championship. But now, don't get me wrong. Now you put him in the mix, then if I'm gonna say, yeah, I think they got a great chance of winning the championship. I'm just saying, like, if we put him on the team and the other pieces have to just play their role in order for them to win, then I don't see him winning that way. I feel like he got to have somebody else.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is he's more like a Kyrie Irving. He's not he can't be your number one guy. He gonna need a LeBron. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He need to be that number.
So you said, Talante, so you saying he could get one? He could get one being the guy and everybody else just following his lead?
I mean, you got to think, Snacks right now, and I could go on a limb. Like a lot of people saying in the league right now, he a top 5. I said top 10 just out of, you know what I'm saying, getting the veterans respect. But I mean, you got to think, he's one of the biggest names in basketball, just pretty much worldwide this season alone. Now you got to think, look at the drastic jumps he done made. Now you got to think he's in his 3rd year. The numbers he putting up every year he's gotten better. He lightened the league up. You got to think, so he is the guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to think they beat all the top West teams already this year on that 11-game run. They beat all the top teams. You got to think he didn't beat the Currys. He didn't beat the LeBrons. He didn't smack LeBron and LeBron, my guy, he didn't beat him like every time they played this year. Like embarrass them guys. But
like this firsthand though. In a case where for 7 games I got to zone in and you my only priority, you know what I'm saying? Them teams, like, he ain't gonna be able to just beat them for 4 games like that on a consistent basis. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but you got to think his teammates have gotten better too, though. You got Bang, he's killing. Brooks will be back soon. You got Jared.
Jaron Jackson playing better. Yeah,
the whole
Steven
team,
Adams.
like, they just play. Yeah, they playing good basketball. You know what I'm saying? Tyus Jones, when Ja was out, he didn't hear the rhythm when he killing now. So they just gotta, like, they used to be grit and grind. Now they just the next gen. You know, like Ja say, welcome to the dark. But I mean, they just playing good basketball right now. So I think this year, depending on who they match up with, I think they're gonna be able to make it to the second round this year.
Well, Snacks, I just want to let you know on our chat, Sam Rogers say you just mad because you can't guard Ja Morant. So, so that's what somebody said on the. That's what somebody said on the. That was Sam Rogers.
Hey, Snacks, can he guard you?
Don't want to see a picture of him.
Now, Ronaldo Taylor said, as a faithful Lakers fan, Morant is a superstar. If they can get him a few high caliber vets in Memphis, they probably are a year or two away from championship contenders. So it's interesting. So let me ask you this. Somebody said, where is the Olive Branch super fan at? That's what they're looking at. It's interesting that you got different people. And, you know, by the way,
I thought I sold TV. How I feel about that disease.
by the way, I rumor has it that he may be getting banned, you know, from even attending Olive Branch games. But that's something
they're gonna ban him.
I gotta ask Eddie, did he come down to the Rumble yesterday? Did he come down yesterday?
Yeah, I need to check on it because Olive Branch lost to Meridian.
Yeah.
Speaking about that,
did he come down yesterday?
We did have, and Eddie is not on yet. We did have the Rumble in the South, the girls edition on yesterday, and they said they rumbled too. And so I heard it was a. Were you were there, weren't you, Shoes, or were you?
No, I wasn't there. I had to go out of town on Friday, so I didn't get back late yesterday.
So you didn't make it. I know Eddie Young and Mark Rowe. I heard it was a pretty good event. You know, just looking at the stuff during online. Tomorrow,
I think that was the top game of the day.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
Obviously, it was the top game of the day.
Yeah, I know that Germantown was in Steven Jackson's game in Memphis, and I know they lost to Bartlett, which is one of the top teams in Memphis. Lost, you know, it looked like they lost by 20, but from my understanding, I don't know if Germantown's top player, you know, played in the game, because I did hear. I
heard she's out. I heard she didn't play yesterday. I heard she's out. She might be out for a while.
Yeah, I heard she out for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. However long she's out, you can count. And and I know some people may not like our opinions, but however long she's out, it's going to be a challenge for, you know, Germantown. Let's just be honest. Anytime.
Who we talking
about? Germantown lost. I think Madison Booker's out for a couple weeks. And
that's big time. That's a big miss.
Yeah, that's a huge. That's really like Lakers being without LeBron, or, you know, New Jersey being without KD, or Golden State being without Steph.
We've been KD out for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, or let's just I think
y'all relax, man. Not too much on my guys, man.
I think it's a better comparison because those teams are better. I think it's like Ja Morant being out with Memphis, even though Memphis did win some games. Right. Let's not get it twisted. Memphis,
I think they got enough talent. They should still be able to win a number of their games. I mean, like in their region, you know, they should still be able to beat Madison and Merle without her. Clinton might be able to beat them. You know,
no, it ain't no might. Whoa. It ain't no might. Clinton definitely would beat them. There's no might about that. They only lost by.
Yeah, shoot. Ain't no might about that one, shoot.
Like, I don't want to give you I'm not gonna even let you go there with that. Clinton is definitely Clinton will definitely beat them.
They almost beat them. They almost beat them with her. They was up 5 with 2 minutes. So I don't know about those.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was at the game. So yeah, I'm in total agreement with that. And that's not no diss. Clinton is really good and Germantown's really good.
Yeah.
But I will say this.
Town does have another talent that, if nurtured, they could still be a pretty stout team.
Yeah, I will say this. And Snacks, since we're on that, that was your first time seeing Booker, correct?
Correct.
And she had, I was at that game too. She had an easy 32, kind of like I was telling you one day, like her skill set and all of that type of stuff. She does what does she do? Whatever she wants to do, that's the kind of thing. Tell me your first impressions, of her.
Oh, my first impressions of her was she set the bar. She like I was telling people, she's very, very skilled, very, very talented. Like you say, she gets to her spots when she wants to. My only question or concern from her was just an aspect of like the switch being on and off. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, through the course of the game, she kind of turned it on, turned it off. Sort of like how we used to compare like how Jalen Reed was. It was like if it clicked for Jalen Reed and the motor continuously ran, then there's no question that he's a pro and, you know what I'm saying, he's on the floor anywhere in the country. So that's why I feel like you see some similarities. But like I feel like for girls with her skill set, like some nights she can go 50% in you know what I'm saying, the competition she's gonna be playing against, that's gonna be just enough to get by. But like on the next level, I feel like if she gets a consistent like switch where she got it on, I feel like she's gonna be very, very effective in whichever program she go to.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. And let's talk about that. And we'll move past, Madison, but let's talk about what you just said, the proverbial quote unquote switch, that kids today and not just today, everybody has, said such and such can turn it on, turn it off. But I really feel, I'll speak for my era, and I'm 52 and I'm not ashamed of it. In the era of Jordan and Magic, and even guys even today, I don't think that, I don't see guys in the league, me personally, they're not, like I see them going out killing pretty much every night. I don't see guys, I think they amp it up in the playoffs. You kind of see that switch turn on and off in the lower levels, high school, at the park, at the games. Do y'all agree or disagree? Like I don't see that happen. Like first of all, in college, the coach ain't letting you turn it on and turn it off, and it's just too good. I don't care what level it is, D3, NAI, NC, CAA, like National Christian, whatever, post grad. You're gonna have to, you ain't good enough to come and turn that thing on and off. I see that happen more in high school, and I see it, like you go to the park, you just go to the park, you ain't playing serious because, J-Rock ain't out there, or so-and-so, the park name, then you want to turn it on. I think that's a real problem, though. What's you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, for me, I honestly, I thought about it. I think some of our like better quote unquote kids, I just think they just bored out there, to be honest with you. Like it's so easy to them, you know what I'm saying? Like I watched the game, and I'm not gonna even name nobody, but the switch, I watched a girl who I know should be averaging probably about 30, 40 a game, have 2 points in the first half, just going through the motion. Then they started playing for real. They had 25 in the second half. Just because, you know what I'm saying, they was down by like 5, so they started playing for real. So I just think it's like I think they're halfway bored. Then, you know what I'm saying, like you can coach them hard and you can try to get them to go, but they just not turn the switch on until they want to. But I just think it could be the competition level. It could be a mindset thing, you know what I'm saying? Because some people are going to come out and kill every game, and some people are just going to go through the motion. But for me, I think, like we always talk about, I think that's why some of those guys have to leave to go play, let's just say at an Oak Hill or the school out in California, because every night you got to turn it on because you're playing against other high-level players every night, so you can't afford to have no off days. But let's say if you're a top Madison Booker, top 5 in the country.
Uh-huh.
Top 5 in the country. You playing against, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to anybody else, just, you know, high school players. For her, she probably is bored out there. Because like you said, she can score when she wants to. So I think that could be a reason. Maybe we got to ask them why they do it, but I think they're just bored out there, honestly. And they don't have to. They can go.
I think they do it because they can. And they can get away with it. And so they just have it. It's just happening.
Let me say this, and I want you to hold that thought too. Brad Buchanan, one of our people on the Twitter, on the chat, I thought made a very interesting point. He said that switch has to be turned on and broken so it cannot be turned off again. So I thought that's very interesting that somebody need to turn, you know how you turn on something and you break it and it just run the whole time. Like until somebody come out and fix it.
On a cartoon when they break the switch where you can't turn it off and on no more.
Yeah. And the water just keep going everywhere. That's very interesting. I think that's the thing. Let me ask you guys this. Would you consider that like kids that don't play hard or they have to seem like get that switch, that proverbial switch, would you consider that a character issue? Like, would you consider that almost low? Let me say it like this, a character flaw. Would that be considered like that's a flaw, that's negative? How do you think that? Is it a character issue?
I don't look at it that way. As a character issue, because some of the kids are just good. They still good kids, and take coaching and everything. It's just that they haven't learned or they haven't seen yet the situation where they have to play hard. I mean, to me it's hard to hold against a kid in high school that doesn't bring it every night, as long as they're consistently performing. I mean, because like a kid like Madison Booker can get up 25 without bringing it every, kind of going through the motion. I'm not gonna hold that against her, because she's just good enough to do that. Now, I know college coaches hate that, but don't like that when they get them there. They're gonna have to break them up. But it's hard for me to hold it against them.
Let me ask you this. Here's a kid that we talk about, sometime, and and I want everybody to understand this. I say this for the record again. We are just giving our opinions. This is not anything. We love all, and I can speak for all these guys. Everybody likes, and you, based on the things that we do, we've proven that. But I will say this for the record. We say the things that we say to try to encourage, motivate, anything that you want to, however you want to call it. It's nothing. We're not trying to be negative, or we're not trying to speak. I'm truly big on, the Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue, so we're going to speak positive. But, at some point, and this is another piece of, I want to shift into, as far as we're talking about these things, in some point, we got to deal with the character of our children and the accountability. They got to have some type of accountability. They got to have some type of work ethic. And so when we start taking up our children when they're wrong per se, or they have a weakness, which we all have, then now it's like, this is where this came from. I tell you, a kid who sometimes looks like he's going through the motion, and he's arguably, he's a top 3 kid, Kamani Hamilton. Kamani, I love Kamani's talent. I think he's a potential pro. I really do. When you look at Kamani just physically, you say, man, that kid could be a pro. He's got the genes, first of all, from his father Tang being a pro. He has the size, of a wing. He's got the shoulders. He just looks like a pro physically. He's got the skill set. He's athletic enough. But then you see he may have 12, or he may have 14, or he may have 8. And I know it's a lot of things go into that. But when you and I think we got to stop setting the bar too low. It seems like we set the bar so low for our kids. Like there are some players, my expectation is for you to go out and get 20 every night, regardless of the game, regardless of the circumstance. If your jumper ain't falling, I'm gonna get an offensive rebound. I'm gonna block a shot. I'm gonna create something defensively. And so, and then when you don't get it, then nobody wants anybody to constructively criticize or critique when their whole life, our whole lives are being critiqued. Talante is a school teacher in the school district. Shoes, you work where you are. Snack does what he does. And I do what I do. We all are being critiqued. That's life. And so I don't understand when someone has a problem with that. And I think that what do we do to, what's your thoughts on that? Like who are some guys that, that you feel or, that need to step it up or may fit that mold that you see?
I mean, your example of Kamani is a good one, but I also feel like I'm gonna say this, EV. While we're sitting here on the outside looking in and looking at kids and saying they don't bring it every night, they don't this and that. We're not in that practice. We're not in that locker room knowing what they're being asked to do in the team structure. Much as with Kamani, last year he played, and this year he plays with his teammates. He's happy playing with his teammates. He's not trying to be the show. It's hard for me to hold that against him. Okay. I mean, I know we want to see a kid we think can be a pro, working to be a pro. Some of that comes with time. Some of that comes with understanding there's a process that goes in it. Right now, he's a high school kid that they're winning games. He's being recruited, he's able to play, and he likes playing with his teammates and playing and dealing with letting his teammates shine as well as he shines. It's hard for me to criticize him. Yeah, I would love to see him. I've always said, if he played every night, like he played those 2 games at the Coliseum last year, he is unequivocally the best player in the state.
Right.
And no, he doesn't play like that every night.
Yeah, but like you said, you got a good point. He did it when it mattered. He turned the switch on and got it done.
And he played with his teammates so much. He seems to enjoy being playing with his teammates, them getting their shots, them getting their shine. It's not like he doesn't look like he's playing to win. It doesn't look like he's not out there competing. He's just not as aggressive as maybe he could be. So I think to say that he's not turning the switch on, turning the switch off and on is not a totally accurate description of him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Shu, because sometimes like our perception of what we think a player should be, sometimes it's more far and beyond what they kind of put into the game sometimes. Like it's just like, for instance, if we say, all right, Madison Booker coming to the game, we might go watch a game where she plays somebody else. We might think she's not playing to her full potential. She might finish the game with 20. But in our eyes, we're going to say, she's a top player in the country. She's supposed to have 40 every night. So I think sometimes, too, like you said, that plays into it, too. We set an expectation level so high for the players, and then when they don't hit their expectation level, then we set out for them, then that's kind of where the gap is.
Yeah, and it kind of go back to what all y'all saying, even like shoes. We don't know what they being asked to do. Kamani could be asking, you know what I'm saying, just go out there and get 12, grab 15 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? That's what they could be asking to do. He really doesn't have to do anything because he already, you know what I'm saying, signed the state. So he don't have to prove nothing to us because he already proved it anyway. Now, on another note, like you said, that might just not be his MO. You know what I'm saying? He might not want to be a scorer. Whereas you go look at a George Marshall and a Hubbard, they out for blood. They trying to get buckets. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the game, that's what you expect them to do because that's what they've been known to do. So, I mean, everybody got their own style. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have a guy, he just want to get assists. You know what I'm saying? He might be looking for 15 assists that game, just trying to feed his teammates. So, it's all on what the player want to do with it. I know we all expect, when you're a high-ranked player, we expect you to dominate. But to me, even if you're a player and put yourself in their shoes, you're going to go out there and do, you know what I'm saying, what you feel you need to do that game. So, we might have the expectation, but as long as you're happy, I think that's what a lot of the kids came to. Like, as long as they happy and having fun, I think that's just what they're gonna do and how they're gonna play the game.
And you know that's fine and dandy. And I think that personally, you know, and I'm learning right now. I'm having to relearn and this generation. I've always been in 30 years of coaching, and anybody that's ever played for me, they can come on and say something differently. I've always been known as a player's coach. And with that, though, what I can say is most players that I played that play for me allowed me to coach them. I never cussed them out ever, but I'm not saying anything's wrong though, because some kids like that, but I was allowed to be able to get in there behind and really push them, and they took it. I realized this generation is more of it's more again, it comes back to accountability, and we make more excuses, in my opinions, for this generation. And it's like shoes right now. He's falling asleep on here. I mean, it's like, are we just boring you like that? I mean, like, I mean, if he ain't tired of taking a nap, and I know shoes, I gotta call you out.
I just like to relax my eyes.
Yeah. I do that too.
I like to relax my eyes.
I'm resting my eyes. So I've been. I've been there.
You know what it is? You know what you just told me? Stop fighting who I am. Just go on, relax my eyes and listen, and stop up there trying to go back and forth. Just go on. I'm just going to relax my eyes and listen and come in when I'm ready to talk. And if anybody say I'm asleep, they can say I'm asleep. It looks worse when I'm trying to go in and out. It looks worse when I'm going in and out. So I'm just going to be me. I'm going to sit here and close them and listen and then talk.
That's it. Just be you. Let me read what some of the Lauren Pittman coach said. She said, I don't think it's a character issue, more of a creative thing. They haven't learned to tap in and keep growing. Personal growth is a challenge at all ages, so a high school kid has to learn. Kamani Ratliff said, I think most of those top players go half speed because the coach will pull them if they get up by too much. That's interesting. Ronaldo Taylor said, it's a lot of teams turn it on and off as well. Brad Buchanan said, a good player also may limit what they're doing because they're watching how their success is affecting the team chemistry. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think all of them are some great points. I like Miss Coach Pittman's point. She made a great point. I mean, even as some adults, you know what I'm saying, we all, you know, like we had said, we all probably don't tap in and, you know what I'm saying, do 110 like we should at all times. So, you know, how can we expect the kids to do it too? So I see what she's saying on that point.
You know, I've got a thought pattern that goes that a lot of these top kids, and you know, we look at kids, a lot of these kids, they've been known that they are pretty good since they were 6th or 7th grade. Every time they walk in the gym, they the first pick, or they gonna get picked. They haven't really had to learn to go to they haven't had to feel like they fight for anything. And it continues, a lot of it continues through high school. Now, let's be for real, these coaches trying to win. They not running their best player off because he ain't just playing super hard every day in high school. That happens in college. There's a big difference in high school coaching and college coaching. High school coaches know that one player can make a difference in your season. And they allow, and they, a lot of them coach to that. You know, a lot of them coach. A lot of them give leeway. A lot of them, you know, they coach the team, and some of them just coach the team laid back anyway. So the kids aren't, you know, it's just there are a lot of factors that go into them kids not knowing at that age that they're not playing what a lot of people think hard all the time. You know, that they're turning, that they're not keeping the switch flipped on all the time. Because of them, it's just normal, it's normal practice. And it's what's being allowed in a lot of cases.
One of the guys says, Sam Rogers says, don't skip he didn't want me to skip his comment. He says, Shoes might as well put a cigar in his mouth. He big chilling. So Jody Stogner said her experience, players being instructed to know your role, where we've seen players excel, but knowing your role looks differently than our fan experience. Yeah, and so there are, you know, there are different. And I always say this. I think that sports is the greatest parallel to life, you know, that there is. You know, when you play these sports and the adversity and the different things, the work ethic, the things that parents allow their children to do, the accountability issues. I can say this, you know, I will say this, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, and I've never made this statement before with unfortunately in front of it, talent usually wins out. If you got the talent, you can have low character a lot of times. You don't have to work as hard per se, but if your talent supersedes everyone else's talent, you can win. And I say unfortunately because a lot of times that's what's happening. When you get to college, now your talent that you were way up here the gap is shortened. So now it's a different conversation. You don't win as much, but because your talent, without the work ethic, without being accountable, without those other things, now you come to college and you're at a slight disadvantage. Would you guys agree with that, or, you know, disagree with that?
I don't like the term disadvantage as much as I just say you got to learn, you got to, you know, reevaluate your situation and learn how to operate within the new situation you're in. You know, I guess you could say it's a disadvantage early on. I think it's a situation that can be overcome. So, you know, some go overcome and some aren't. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. Some go overcome and some aren't. But I think you can, if you want to, and you're willing to be coached, and you're willing to see what you're up against. The light's gonna turn on, and you're going to you know.
I agree with that, Shoes. I agree with that, because when I went to college, I can remember so vividly. I was working out, and in my mind, I'm coming off all state. I averaged, 30-some a game in high school, 25 my senior year. And my coach said, "You ain't working hard enough." And in my mind, I didn't know what he was talking about. I had no clue. Nobody had ever told me up until that point that I didn't work hard enough. And so he did show me how that I needed to work harder. Now, fast forward to this generation, I don't think kids are going through their high school. Somebody is telling them in their circle, whether it be the parent, the trainer, the AU coach, somebody is saying, "Man, you ain't really working hard enough." The pundits like us, somebody. Because back then, you got to think about it. There wasn't no talk shows like this.
There wasn't no talk show, wasn't no social media, wasn't all this hype that's going on now.
Social media, somebody. So they don't have that, to me, that excuse. But I agree with you. When you get to college, you can shift, even though it's a lot harder. Coach Hirschlingham said a lot of players have not been taught or seen firsthand what it means to tap into their ability to control what they can control. They do have control of their game. So many excuses are given. And that's what I think that, and all of you, Shoes is a little older than I am, but pretty much Snacks and Talante are in the same generation, and these young people today are even below them. But I just think that I haven't seen like any other time in history of that I've been alive, the amount of excuses and the lack of accountability in athletes. Like, do y'all see that, Talante and Snacks, because you guys are a little younger? Would you agree with that this generation, I'm talking about these core group of kids now, are less accountable than even you guys were?
I'll probably say majority of them are. I think we got a lot of talented. This generation got a lot of people that's very, very talented, but I don't know whether it's that they don't have the push, but I feel like as far as like holding themselves to full accountability of elevating themselves and trying to get the best out of themselves, I think someone kind of struggle with that extra push. I don't know whether it's that due to like self-motivation or it's like most guys, like, just think about like a lot of kids, like a lot of the kids that are less talented probably work on their game more than the kids that are talented, if that makes sense, or more talented than them.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I think it's a thing. I think it's a sign where, I know like back in the day, I would say y'all don't have social media and stuff. Like social media, they're going to get the praise that they need anyway. So, that might, and you're going to get that like 6th, 7th grade. Like you had said, we pretty much know, because I know somebody said earlier that you can tell by, 7th, 8th grade, who's going to be pretty good. So if they already coming in with all that hype, some people going to still work and some people not. They're going to be like, well, I'm already good. I'm going to be the top 10 in my class in the state and yada, yada, yada. And I just think some people might do it for the wrong reasons. Like back in the day, like Shoes and EV, y'all probably just did it for the love of the game, where now it's more so a thing where they just hoop to take pictures or they just hoop for social media type thing just to get a mixtape or a tweet. So I think it's just so much that's different nowadays with sports and just life in general. That a lot of people, they might not be doing it for the right reason, not for the love of it. They just do it just to do it.
Yeah. I like what you're saying, Talani, because I was sitting there thinking, I wanted to say, EV, remember how when we were coming up, we played a lot of sandlot. We played a lot of pickup ball, EV.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did, and I did.
Yeah.
And in pickup ball, you learned to play hard, because if you lost, you didn't get back on that court.
That's right. That's true.
We learned to play hard playing pickup ball, because there were ramifications when you lost.
That's right.
These guys now don't play pickup like that. They play more AAU. We didn't play as much. They play more AAU, whereas they're going to play games. They're going to get their minutes if they're on a team. They work out. We just, coming up, times are just different now, I think. Times are just different now. Civilization is just different now. Because I look at it like I know, from the time we could pick up a ball, we would go out and play all day. I don't know about you, but I know I might go play up, go to the gym, play on the court all day. When we were all on off day, on Saturdays, or in the evenings after school, we were gonna go play. And you knew you had to play hard because you had to win to stay on the court. You got shoot 20 more people over there want to play. You're down. These guys don't, everybody in their own little gym area now when they are playing pickup. There's only so many kids. They're not coming off the court that much. And then, like I said, they just don't play as much pickup as they used to. I think that was a big part of it for us. I think that was a big part of it for us.
Shoes, somebody, Sam Rogers said, he's on you, man. He said, Shoes know he didn't get no wins. And Shoes always had he said, you always had the last down.
He'll be all right.
Like they, but yeah, I think that, and we welcome in the great Cordarius John. What up, Cord?
What up, everybody? What up, EV?
Have you been listening to the last questions about the accountability and different things? Have you been? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I've been tuning in. Been
Talk to
listening.
me. What's your thoughts, Cord, about the kids today, the work ethic of the players, the accountability issues? You know, and you're a little older than Talante and Thomas. You know, Snacks. I see Thomas here. I don't call. He don't even be called by Thomas. Like, I apologize, man. I can't. There's no way. That's like calling. You know, like. You know, I don't know. That's disrespectful. You're Snacks. You don't even.
You all good, man. You all good.
You're a one namer. You know, but talk to me. What's your thoughts, Corey? Because you played. You know, you were an all-star player, and why do you feel like? What's your thoughts on today's kids? You know, and how they play, and you know what Shoes was talking about playing pickup, because Shoes is right. You can go to the park, and man, like as we called it, down. Who got down? You come to the park. Who got down? And you know that's what we said. Who got down? I don't know where that came from. People then turned in who got next. And if you lose, you just go home, because it's 50 people out there, and you know you may not get back on unless you was a player like me who they gonna pick up eventually. Like I was that guy that they did pick up. Maybe not next, but they holding a spot for me at least one down the road. But I prided myself. You ain't like, I tried to pick the right team, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, go ahead, Corey.
Nah, I was just man, I see it all the time. I mean, kids, they don't have a motor. They want to play too cool. Like especially when I don't watch a lot of boys high school, but when I do, it's like the kids really just, some of them already being given these titles and these rankings before they even really done something. So they don't really put I feel like they don't really put the work in enough. And it's coming from somebody that their dad was a disciplinarian. Like, he had me outside during, like, I open my Christmas presents, I got to go outside and get the grind in, run miles and stuff. So I know it's a different grind for these kids now. They got a lot of gym access, and they got to be in the gym, and they got to have a trainer. And I didn't have a trainer. I just had my dad. It just was tough. You know, it was a different upbringing. So I can't relate to them going to get training work, because he always been there for me. But I just don't see them putting a lot of they would just go around and go, even in training. Like when I train kids, I always tell them to go game speed. Like, some of them just want to go do the move, they perfect the move, but it's not game speed. So when they get in the game, they can't even do it. They can't even get to their spots like they're supposed to. So, and a lot of kids, they quit a lot. If it don't go right for them, they quit. They can go to college and quit. Folks giving them scholarships. Oh, I don't like it no more. I'm quit. They just quit a lot nowadays, to me.
And where do you? That's a great point, Corey. That is a great point, because and I still kind of hold this today, because, and I believe, and y'all know how I am. This is a spiritual thing for me too. I believe quitting is in the atmosphere. It's in the spirit realm. It's more than ever, because sometimes I feel like quitting, and I'm like, where'd that come from? Because at the end of the day, Shoes, do you remember people that was players, like legitimate players, that quit? Do you remember a lot? Like, that didn't happen. Like, and here's the thing. I can't remember a player. And here's the thing. You know who didn't allow them to quit?
Parents.
Oh, I seen somebody put a quote about that.
Oh, and here's the thing. It didn't matter how bad the coach was. Here's the crazy thing, and I know people ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna go and say it. I just say stuff sometimes. You like Coach Thomas Billups, who is arguably on the men's side the GOAT of high school basketball here in the state of Mississippi. 8 championships, what we call, he's at least in the GOAT conversation. We can all agree with that.
Yeah.
His style would be very challenging today. I don't know if he could have that same success, not because of the kids per se. I don't think the parents would allow him to coach the way that he's got to coach and get in your face, cuss you out, that type of deal. I don't think that's would be allowed today. What's your thoughts, Shu? Because you're the veteran on that. Do you agree with that? Do you think can Thomas Billups today, because he's a great coach, let's just not, I want to make that clear. He's a great coach. But could he have that same success in today's generation? And mind you, we know it is changed. Could he have that same success?
All right. Over the course of his career, I saw him morph a little as the kids changed.
Okay.
So as time changed, I saw him maybe soften his stance a little bit. He was still demanding, still very demanding, but not as abrasive.
Okay.
So he did do a good job of, morphing his style. And I've always thought that one of the benefits he had was where he was coaching at. He was in a situation where a lot of those kids needed a strong hand. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know that his style would have gone over well at Murray.
Where?
At Murray.
Okay.
I don't think he could have seen it then at Murray.
Okay.
Murray's always had a whole lot of parent over involvement and
Gotcha.
and stuff. So and some of these others, maybe a Callaway. I don't know about a Provide that I know that for that time Provide had a few parents, but I don't know that this style would have gone over then in certain places. I've always felt that he was built. One of his biggest benefits of his career was where he was coaching at. But yeah, that style, it would be very difficult. I'm not gonna say you can't do it today, but it has it goes back to the same thing I just said. You gotta be in a certain place. You gotta be in a certain, and these days it's not very many of those guys. The parents are so heavily involved. Parents scrutinize the coaches so much now, and things like that. That it's hard for coaches to coach. I think the coaches out of some of these small towns are some of the most blessed coaches, because all them folks care about is the coach winning and looking and making the town look good in small town. They're not going to bother him as much as people like around here in the metro area and some of the bigger schools and things like that. Some of the small school coaches probably have it better than because they're going to get more support overall than a lot of these guys at these bigger schools and these bigger places.
Talante, go ahead. You were getting ready to say something. It looked like.
No, I agree with Shoes. I mean, it just depends on what school you at. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't coach at let me think. I can't coach at, Callaway or, Provine the same way I have to coach at let's say a Northwest Rankin or MRA or something. I'm sure it's totally different. So it really just depends. Like school wise, you know what I'm saying? Like, because those are different type of schools and environments. So if you understand like being a coach at a high school, you really got to go with the culture, like what type of school culture it is. Because some administration not going to even let you do all that. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on where you at. So when people think about high school sports, it's a lot more that go into it than just, oh, this coach, he doing this or he doing that. Like some of them might not have no pool. They might just be, you know what I'm saying? They might just got to do what the administration tell them to do type thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no pool. They just coaching. They just over there. You know what I'm saying? They hands side.
Naldo Taylor's just said a lot of parents are accepting quitting just as they are pulling their kids from a program. And we see that a lot. And we really see that a lot. And it starts, I tell you where we really see that a lot at is, quitting and pulling people. We see that a lot as we welcome in baby Dumbo. Y'all don't remember Dumbo was an elephant back in the day. And he flew around. And so we have Dumbo on here that has just joined us. Thank you, welcome Dumbo. But as we're talking about the accountability, I think, and I know with with Eddie Ancourt and Snacks and Talante and myself, who's dealt, you see that first a lot in the AAU realm, especially where you go from one team to the next. And obviously that's a parent issue. And, you know, I know you see it in high school too, but the high school does have rules where you just can't switch all the time. So talk to me about that, you know, a little bit. Do you think that, how does that affect the kid that is able to leave one situation? And now we have the AAU in college, and it's called the transfer portal. We talked about that a little bit more, because basically you're quitting at the end of the day. And sometimes, I want to make this clear for the record, coaches push kids out too. But we're talking about specifically those ones that see something, they don't like it, and then they go somewhere else and realize that the grass, as they say, not greener on the other side as they thought it was. Who do we blame most for that? Do we blame parents, or do we blame kids, or do we blame them equally?
All right, so let me ask you this, like you had said. So if the coach pushes me out versus me just transferring because I want to leave, is it a difference?
No.
Do y'all think it's the same thing?
Yes, I think the coach. Well, and I think when a coach pushes you out, obviously there's either been, they realize, man, you weren't good enough for us. I misevaluated you, or you were a problem. To me, those are only two issues. You know, you're not good enough. Coaches not getting rid of good players that ain't got no issues academically or off the court. They ain't getting rid of those. They getting rid of kids that they're gonna try to get rid of kids, you know, and they're gonna tell them in a nice way, man, probably it's gonna be best. And this is what they usually say, something along this lines, like, man, it's gonna be tough for you to play here. You know, like, you ain't gonna hardly ever play here. So it might be in your best interest, you know, and I'll help you get somewhere else. That's how that conversation. Or they look at the grades and say, hey, man, you're just not cutting the mustard grade wise. You're not doing what you said you're going to do. You've been this, you've done this. You got this whole list. It's probably going to be best that you know, move on, and because it's going to be tough for you to play here because I can't depend on you. That's going to be that. So the coaches do have a responsibility. And so it is, I would say, to answer your question, it is similar. I think it's a little different when you quit, in my opinion. You know, when you just say, I don't like.
Sometimes the handwriting on the wall for the kids now, sometimes they ain't gotta just be told by the coach, you ain't gonna never play here.
That's true too.
You know, I mean, so, you know, I mean, it's, you know, like, it's a big difference, I think, in what's going on in college. And what we're talking about with this AAU jumping teams all the time. Because nobody seems to be loyal, you know, at least in high school and college most times, you know that we see teams in AAU, the guys are playing and leave the team. We see guys who play and leave teams, with guys and girls who playing a lot leave teams. They always looking for something better, this and that. You know, usually I think most of the situations in college are, well, now that you've got this trend of transferring up, you see that. But I still think the majority of the transfers in college are guys who the handwriting count on the wall. They can't make the rotation.
Right.
They recruiting over them and things.
And to me, because we talking about it, I know we keep saying like things have changed, but things have changed. Like now, instead of people like sitting there getting mistreated and stuff, that people got options. So a lot of people just opt to leave out. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big difference from back in the day. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And back then you couldn't leave, so you kind of had to stay type thing and finish it out. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
That's another thing that kind of changed. And you know, like with everything, you know what I'm saying, the world is always evolving daily. So it's one of those things where, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna talk about it, and it might change next year. We might be like, well, it might go back to the old way where, you know what I'm saying, you got to stick it out type thing. So I just think it's gonna always keep changing forever.
Don't you think though it starts the trend of this starts in the younger ages where you go from team to team? I mean, Eddie and Corey, why don't y'all jump in? You know, as AAU people, you know, you guys have had your share of kids leaving your program for sometimes the right reason, sometimes the wrong reason. Do you think doing that at that age, at an earlier age, sets the tone for kids to do that at a later age?
You answer first.
Go ahead, Cord. You go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. No, I do agree. You know, it was intriguing the other day. I was in the gym and I run a youth basketball, and I was actually. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I was talking to one of my parents in my youth league, and she was talking about, you know, this particular season wasn't ideal for her son. He was going through some stuff, and you know, there were some things on our end that wasn't ideal. And then the coaches, we had a couple of coaches change, and we're talking about a second grade parent kid that's in second grade in my youth league. And the one thing that stood out to me is that she said, you know what, Coach Young, we got a month left in the season, and I'm gonna make sure that my child see this season out, because I was raised in a manner where whatever you started, you finished. And so I think that's the most important thing with this whole entire situation at all levels. I just think that each situation is different, but for the most part, it's about having the right standard. And I think nowadays we've become so privileged. We got more. I'm talking about in general, America as a whole. We've got more, a lot of times than we've ever had. A lot of these kids have missed my games because they want to stay at home and play video games. Like, we never would have did anything like that. And so for me, I just think it like Talante said, it's a culture. As far as the AAU side go, I know college coaches are watching it now. When kids are changing schools from high schools to AAU, a lot of times I think people just have this notion that the grass is always greener on the other side. And so you see that a lot in our space, me and Corderia's space, as far as travel ball go. But ultimately, I think it really even gets back to how you're raised. If I sign my kids up for karate, snacks, and if it's $180 for karate, guess what? He may not do karate for the rest of his life, but he gonna finish that session. And so those are the standards and things that my wife and I set in our household, because we were raised that way. And man, it's just sometimes it's discouraging when you see kids. Hell, I mean, there's kids who play with 4-5 AAU teams in the season, man. Hell, you get to the gym. Actually, I'll tell you this as a tournament director, this is no lie. I had a situation at my CYBL championship last year. Had a huge issue. I'm talking about a knockout drag out with some teams from Alabama. The damn kid played with two different teams in the at the tournament. She played a 9 o'clock game with one team. At 10:30, she played a whole different organization, and the parents allow that kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of loyalty in travel ball, because the parents are always looking for that quick fix, and so whoever can present that to them, they'll buy it and hang on to that. And so for me, our motto now is we're going to work hard for the people that's loyal to us. If you've been in my program for a while and you've been loyal to me, then those are the kids we're going to work hard for. And it's just a part of it. We understand it. We know it. Cordarius and I have talked about it. Kids go come and go. They go leave the state because they feel like, it's so much better out of state versus what we're doing. But in the end, again, I think it all boils down to the parents and how you're being raised, and not allowing kids to jump ship just because somebody get onto you, or just because somebody is tough on you, or just because, whatever your reason is. So.
Go ahead, Cord. Go ahead, Cord.
Hey, you got to unmute your phone, you big, ugly Grizzly.
No, I just want to say, man, just like y'all was saying earlier about the coaching, like y'all was saying, can Thomas Billups coach in this area and all that? I think it depends on the parents. Parents play a big role in everything. that goes on in these kids' lives, like more and more. And I think the parents are so they want the dream as just as much as the kid. Like, you always used to say, "Oh, you living through your child," which it's cool. I think if you want to push your child, if you play ball, you want to push your child to a certain limit. I'm cool with that, but I think some people they looking on Twitter just as much as the kids are, and they be like, "Dang, how that kid get that offer? Oh, that kid, they showing that kid so much love. Why that kid rank higher than my kid?" Instead of just telling the kid like, "Okay, let's go back to the lab. Let's work on your game. When you play against this kid, you need to be trying to lock him up. You need to be trying to score these numbers." Like, don't nobody want to do that. Everybody just wanted that now fix. Then you see some of these kids that come from these households, they go off to college, and most of them quit, especially in girls basketball. I can speak on that. Most of them quit the first first year, second year. They ain't playing no more. So I mean, it's a tiresome thing. That's why I had put the little quote on Facebook, the little status on there. I said, I'm recruiting parents too now. It just.
That's a great point. That's, you know what, Corey? That's major right there. You recruiting parents now too.
I'm recruiting parents too now. I got to eliminate the head because you can be the players coach, and you can be the hard coach like Coach Billups, and you still gonna catch slack if they feel like you're not doing right by their child or the team, or you ain't winning. Like, whatever they want to harp about, they're gonna harp about anyway. So you just gotta do the best you can do. And just stay focused and loyal to the ones, like you just said, because it's a dirty game and it's crazy, and it's getting more crazier because of social media. I know we blame social media a lot. It helped people, but it also hurt these kids too. Because everybody want to be the big time star. Everybody want to be the Paige Buckets, the Ryan Howards, and all that type of players. So without putting that work in, so that's just my input.
Man, that's powerful, Corey. You said something, because parents, I want you guys, parents, to know that at this level, college coaches are looking at the parents. Some do. Now, some, again, that's the thing where I go back to, unfortunately, if your talent is there, sometimes they'll overlook the parent because, like I said, talent, we can say we won't. Talent wins championships.
Yeah.
It ain't all the coaches. You put Gino Ariema right here, and I coach at Valley. You put him at Valley right here. Gino ain't putting no balls in the hole. He just ain't. They not. Don Staley ain't playing no more. They ain't scored one basket for their teams. They ain't turned the ball over one time. So your talent sometimes eliminates past all what we're talking about. One of the coaches said, parents, and then I got a funny quote from one of our chatters, parents do set the standard, or should, but if they don't, other adults in charge know the rules and still allow it. And she said, the adults know better. And I agree. We, everything that's going on a lot, in my opinion, with our kids as a whole, they're looking from, at adults. And so we do set the standard. And I agree with that. Sam Rogers wanted me to ask you, Eddie, he said, do y'all think Eddie can do Kung Fu?
Hey, I might can't do Kung Fu, but I can drop kick and chop you, and Look, let me say this too. He sat there and said he coached at Valley. Man, you ain't doing no coach. You ain't doing no taking up a bunch of space over there sitting on the sideline. Talking about us as college coaches watch. Snacks, the only thing he's doing is watching Snacks in the stands. He can tell you what everybody ate at them games. Who had how much popcorn they ate. He ain't doing no coaching now. I'm gonna have a talk with Ashley about that. But no, I can't do. Hey, Sam, I can't do no Kung Fu, but I can whoop EV and anything. Basketball, marbles, checkers, whatever you. I can beat him in anything.
And you're right, because the first thing you're gonna do, and for those of you watching today, Eddie texted me the other day, and he asked me. He said, "Man, do you have a lawyer? Do you have a lawyer, man. I need a lawyer. And I said, well, what do you mean? You know, obviously, you know, I always talk about Tunde Wade, the Wade law firm. You know, if you want to get paid, go to Tatum and Wade. And so he asked me the other day, he said, yeah, man, I was in a store and I was standing behind somebody and I accidentally bumped heads with them. And they tried to, you know, the person that he bumped heads with is trying to say that Eddie, you know, I don't know if y'all noticed, they declared Eddie's head a lethal weapon. And so, you know, he headbutted somebody in the store. And they're looking, he needs a lawyer. So yes, he can beat me anything. Because if this dude headbutts me, there's a chance that I may not make it. So you're exactly right.
Hey, sure.
Can Dumbo.
Hey, sure. That's about what needs to be happening. Somebody need to headbutt him and knock some sense back in his head. He's crazy as hell.
Hey man, I'm finna make me some money. I'm finna market y'all to as a sumo wrestling match. We have a sumo wrestling match.
Hey, that would be interesting.
Hey, shoes. My old move normally when I used to fight back in the day, I would grab jokers around their neck, but since he ain't got no neck, I'm gonna just pull his ears real hard.
Hey man.
Hey, Sam Rogers says Eddie versus EB, versus Snacks in a hot wing eating contest. Who will win? Well, I will win because I don't do hot wings.
Ain't nobody touching me in no hot wings. Now that's one of my favorite foods. Yeah, I'm gonna win that 9 times out of 10.
No, but we got to get Sam Rogers on the show. You know, he's talking all this because I don't know who he is. Does anybody know who he is?
I don't know it.
Do you know him, Snack?
I don't know.
Because he comment. I mean, I don't mind reading his comments because, you know, he says Shoes must have been missing for a while. He must have took a power nap. I mean, he always, I mean, he's on everything. But anyway, real quick, I want to shift into Eddie, you and Mark Rowe put on the Rumble in the South with the girls yesterday. Talk to us about the event. I wasn't able to come. You know, we had games. A lot of college coaches I know on the Division I level, you know, that had games weren't able to be there. But I'm sure there was plenty of, you know, talk to us about the college, you know, coaches. Talk to us about who were some of the standouts, the players, and different things like that in the event itself.
Yeah. So yesterday we did the first ever Rumble in the South. Of course, the boys event. This is one of, if anybody's been following basketball, it's one of the top events in the state of Mississippi for the past several years. And so the boys will play tomorrow at Mississippi College. But man, I was just excited to be able to get it off the ground. Mississippi State coach, Coach Benson, shout out to Coach Eddie Benton to show up from Mississippi State. Coach Patosha Jeffrey was there before I got there, and she stayed all day for USM. We had Jones JUCO, Alcorn State. Nate Kilbert showed up from Alcorn State. And, we had Tougaloo, Coach Barnes, coach was there, Kahoma, Pearl River. I mean, it was a good event. Sure, I'm leaving a lot of people out, Colleen. So we had the best game was the Meridian, although Meridian ended up winning by double figures, but just the hype around that particular game, Meridian Olive Branch. You know, Olive Branch obviously had beat Meridian a couple of times last year, and so you know it was a sweet victory for Meridian to come back and actually win that game. Of course, Mississippi State signing Lucretia Pope was what we thought she was. You know, anytime she stepped on the floor, most nights she's gonna be the best player on the floor, and she had a really good game in that particular game. In some of the early games, she had Callaway versus Hartfield Academy, which Hartfield Academy ended up running away with that one in the second half. But I like Callaway's young guards, Journey Ringo and Johanna JoJo Wilson. They're going to be good for the next several years. Of course, they are two freshman-led guards, so they're as good as any young guards that you'll find in JPS. But Hartfield Academy has some really good play from the Hooten kid, the sophomore, the 6'2" kid, Kanala Hooten did a tremendous job. She made some real good plays for them. That was in game one. I can't remember who played in the second game, but I know Madison Central and Ridgeland was a really good game as well for a first half. And then Mississippi Alabama signee Jason Russ kind of got going in the second half. She had a really good performance for them. And Coach Brown did a tremendous job. That group is well coached. Unfortunately, at the end of the night, Neshoba Central was supposed to be playing against Clinton, and we had some issues with COVID, which kind of, we're all dealing with COVID, and so Clinton ended up having a bag out, which we were really looking forward to the Clinton and Neshoba Central game. I think a lot of people had marked that one down, and so we got Forest Hill late and had some issues with Forest Hill transportation, and they didn't even make the game. So that particular part was unfortunate, to have that. And so we didn't get a chance to see Neshoba. I know a lot of coaches were there to see them. So that was a bit unfortunate. But overall, I think the event was really good. I mean, you got to start somewhere. And the girls' basketball has been on the back burner. And I think one of the things that myself and Cordarius and even you, EV, before you kind of got on the college scenes, was some of the guys who were trying to make girls' basketball relevant. And I think events like that is really good for the state because you're able to see a lot of talent under one roof. And again, like I said, had some really good play. I tell you, though, before we transition, the one kid that I hadn't saw a lot of the MRA girls, but MRA is really, really good. I mean, they're very well coached. Coach Force does a tremendous job with them, and they've got two dynamic kids. Ella, Lord, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm getting like shoes now when I forget my kids, but Ella Wesley, number 24 for them, man, she's feisty, she's tough, she makes all the right plays. She's got a really good feel for the game. She did a tremendous job yesterday. And then Riley Hancock, man, let me tell you one thing. I can't wait to update my rankings. She is way low. I got her kind of in the middle of the pack. I think she's as good as a lot of the kids, man. I mean, from the first time I saw her to now, she's tremendous. She had 29 points and 16 rebounds and was the game MVP versus Knoxville County. And then also a shout out to Leah Sutton from Raymond, who had a double-double in a really, really good overall game. I think she had, double-double to go along with 6 assists and 5 rebounds. So it was a good event and something that we looked at.
Okay, there you go. I said we had lost your ugly face, but that was really a blessing. But I know there's some people, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and so we had lost your face for a minute. Talk to me. Let's go back to that Raymond Brandon game. I was, to be honest with you, I thought, looking from the outside in with, I know Brandon had two Division I talent type players.
Right.
Talk to me. What happened in that game? That's surprising. I know Leah Sutton is a big time player.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think obviously a low scoring game, which kind of to me favored Raymond. Marley Freeman didn't have her best game. I want to say Marley ended up with 4 or 5 points, so she didn't. They were able to keep her down. Kennedy Davis had double figure scoring, but offensively, Brandon just struggled. They couldn't get a whole lot going offensively. And I think when they, obviously Raymond wanted to keep that game in the 40s. And when they can do that, man, they're good enough to beat a lot of teams. And I tell you, Raymond's going to be a sneaky team this year. They've only lost 2 games in 4A. I was talking with my guy Bennett earlier today. I think Raymond's a team in 4A that you got to kind of watch out for, man. They're just, like I said, they're sneaky good. And kid number 14, I lose her name, but she's a junior. And she chipped in about 19 points for Raymond also. And so to go along with 7 rebounds. So they've got a good 1-2 punch, and I think they'll make a deep run in 4A this year, actually.
Hey,
Switching over.
Eddie, was the super fan there for Olive Branch?
No, Olive Branch didn't have their super fan. That's probably why they lost.
So Ray Sean didn't make the trip.
No, I didn't see him there.
Who played? You know, I know it was a low scoring game. It was 42-26, I think. Who played well for Olive Branch?
Addison Howell did good. This was the best showing that I had saw from Addison Howell. Rima struggled with a 3 ball. She couldn't get. I mean, she shot 2 or 3 air balls from the 3-point line, and she's normally a really good shooter. She had one nice step back 3 that she hit, but she was out from the perimeter. Wasn't her best game. She was matched up.
Perception problem.
Yes, I was gonna say when you go to that when you play in those arenas, it does. Even though let's face it, you know, Olive Branch has played in the arena. You know, they've won 3 straight championships, so they have some, you know, a lot of experience playing in those. But that does sometimes the depth perception there.
It's a big deal.
Does have an issue, and especially
the whole season hadn't played, and it could be a detriment in that first game in.
And here's the other thing, Shoes. They have the new college line, which is a little deeper than the high school. You know, although, you know, obviously Raymond has all type of range, it still is it can be challenging. Did you see a lot of that at all, Eddie? Was there a lot of great shooting performances?
It wasn't a lot of great shooting, to be honest with you. And that may have attributed to it. I didn't think about that because at Mississippi College, there's 3 lines there. You know, so there was a couple of times when we thought it was a 3-pointer. You know, so but anyway, she didn't have her best game. I thought Tashiana Buckley did a really, really good job of keeping her make her go right. You know, she took away her left hand. Coach Faulkner, I think, is very underrated as a coach. I mean, the more I see her, my God, that team is they're court savvy, and them on the bench is like nothing I've ever seen before. Her assistant coaches, those 2 assistant coaches at Meridian High School should be next up for a head coaching job somewhere. And her team seems to always be prepared. And so for Jason Thompson in Olive Branch, you don't want to bet against him, man. I mean, he's got as many state championships as any coach. And so I look for them to bounce back and make a deep run. Addison Howell was phenomenal. She really was good. That's the best court I had seen her play this, you know, the 4 or 5 times I've seen her play over the past few years. That was as good as I've seen her play. And so, but they gonna have to, Olive Branch gonna have to have some other people step up, to be honest with you. I know the black kid, she started yesterday, Brianna Black, the freshman. She's got to get stronger. Of course, she's young. She's got a lot of upside, but they're gonna need that other piece, I think.
How did Lamonte Owens play? She just started back. She just got eligible.
Yeah, she struggled to miss some shots, took some ill-advised shots, in my opinion. I like her energy and her motor, but that's number 4, right, Cord?
Yeah, number 4. She just started back playing like 2 games ago, I think.
Yeah, Peggy's is a great leader too. She went over to and told her, "Hey, look, we need you to step up." You know, she knew she was struggling, and so if she can step up for them, you know, I ain't betting against Coach Thompson. You know what I mean? So I think any given night, he's a legendary coach, and he can get it done. It can beat anybody. But again, it was Meridian. Yesterday was clearly Meridian. Looked like the better team, and so. For Meridian, Buckley played really well too. I think every JUCO in the state of Mississippi should be offering Tashiana Buckley if they hadn't. She's gonna be a really good ball player, man. You know, just gritty, grimy. She's added the corner 3. Even Coach Hubbard said, "Man, when did she add that? We didn't even know, you know, that she could shoot the ball." So she's knocking down some shots. And of course, I don't know if you can talk about your signee, but Charity Hinton, who committed to you guys at Mississippi Valley State. There isn't a quick guard. There's not a guard in the state as quick as her. When she decides to get downhill, man, she is a blur. Like if you blink, you missed her. And I'm telling you, and what I like about her too, she don't waste a lot of dribbles. She one move, bam, and she at you. You know, a lot of kids over dribble. And so I like her because she's feisty, she's tough. And I do think Mississippi, you don't do a lot, but that's about the one good thing you've done since you've been at the school is getting her. So I think she's going to be able to be a big asset to you guys next season. So.
Well, thank you, Dumbo. Are you any related to Columbo? But anyway, Shoes, talk to me tomorrow as we transition real quick. Tomorrow's the Rumble in the South Boys Edition. Who are some of the players? Obviously, there's a lot of dandy dozens in the game.
Yeah, we're going to have 10 of the 12. Tupelo pulled out because of COVID issues. So we're going to have 10 of the, we had 11 of the 12. Actually, I almost had 12 of the 12 because early on, St. Patrick was supposed to be in and they pulled out early in the year. But Tupelo pulled out. So we will have 10 of the 12 dandies there. But, you know, and everyone knows who they are. But there are a number of other kids that I think really could catch some eyes tomorrow. You know, Avon Johnson's already signed with Jackson State. He's having a really, really strong year at Murr. You know, Quaterius Scott is having a strong year for Murr. And this may be an opportunity for him to catch some college eyes. A kid at Terry Porter at Carey, the Porter kid at Terry will be there tomorrow. You know, he has an opportunity to maybe catch some eyes. We have Madison Central going against Park Lane, two big guys, Gazal and Shane Davis playing against each other. The lineup starts in the morning with St. Andrews and J.A. If I'm correct in my memory, at Morse, the next game will be Provine and Terry. Behind that, we have that next would be the J.A. Would be not J.A. would be the Park Lane MRA game.
Park Lane Madison Central.
The Madison Central game. And MRA plays, I think the fourth game is MRA and Murr.
Yeah, so let's stop right there. MRA and Murr. We talked about that early, and I'm going to have a show. I'm going to have Josh Hubbard on here real soon, and I want to, you know, we're not going to spend this time tonight on it. We can just touch on it, but I want to give Josh a show and bring on some old heads like Brad Adams, and the question is, can Josh Hubbard, when it's all said and done, he's only a junior, has over 2,600 points, can he go down as the greatest high school player to come through Mississippi? Now, we're not talking about college, we're not talking about pro, we're talking about what he's accomplished in high school. Although it's been private, they have not shied away from playing any public school, and he has done it both public and private. No, he hasn't done it like Chris Jackson, aka Mahmoud, or Monte on that. But the numbers are going to say different. He's going to have the most points out of anybody.
Well, you just answered your own question. You just said he ain't did it like the two of them. Even though
but I'm just saying, and when I say he ain't did it like that, because the quote unquote public schools, and even though the Deshaun Ruffins, but is that can we put him in the conversation for high school only?
Of all time, Evie?
Of all time.
I'd like to wait till it plays out before I say. I mean, at this point, you know, still a lot of resume to be built. So I just like to wait till it plays out before I even think about making that answer the question like that. I like to be able to look at the full story before I answer a question like that.
Okay.
No.
Anybody else want to touch that?
Hey, look, so at Media Day the other day, Shoes was there, and I was talking with Josh. We was talking about Chris Jackson, and Josh was talking about how he went out to Texas, and he say Chris was giving it to him out there at 50-something years old. So I don't know if we want to compare any of these kids to Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, but I do think Josh and Snacks can jump on. I think Josh is one of our next up, so to say, Snacks. But for me, when I think about your question, I'll put my 2 cents in. For as great as Josh is, I don't think he separated himself from a Deshaun Ruffin who just graduated, Mark Drone, and some of the other kids in terms of the kid at Forest Hill, George Marshall, although I think he may be statistically what you're talking about, EV, but I think even though you could say maybe Josh is better, I don't think it's a clear better. Like when Monte played, it wasn't no debate. Like everybody knew Monte was the best player. Like we wasn't even going to have that debate. I think there's
Quick
two
question,
three
Eddie.
guards. Like, I'm sorry.
Quick question. So, are you saying that he hasn't separated himself with the competition that he played, or are you saying what like?
So like for me, when you think about just Deshaun Ruffin and Josh, to me, I think if I'll use EV analogy. If I got Josh and you got Ruffin, I ain't tripping. Or if I got Ruffin and you got Josh, I ain't tripping. Even with the kid George Marshall, although I think Josh has an extra that maybe George doesn't have. But if I got George Marshall, I ain't tripping. In other words, I think if they played against each other, you could debate who might have a better game and who might not. I just think when Monte and Chris and those guys played, James Robinson, they were so much better than their peers. That's what I'm saying, if that makes sense, Snacks. You know what I'm saying? I think they were just, we wasn't going to even debate if Chris Jackson, when he played, if he's the best player. Now, I'm on the girls' side, and maybe I need to defer the shoes, or maybe I'm missing something.
Oh yeah, because I'm about to say now, if we take out all the 2022 guys, it ain't very many guys in 2023 that you could just pinpoint and say that they on his level. That's kind of a tough statement to make.
Well, I think Snacks in 10th grade, Malik Newman and Monte were the best players in the state as 10th graders.
So is Josh Hubbard the top player in the state right now? Would you say?
Malik Newman the whole time y'all been making this high school stuff, man. Come on.
Absolutely.
Malik Newman is one of my favorites.
Did he win 4? He won 4, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hold on.
USA team MVP. Come on, guys.
Oh no disrespect to Malik, but let me clear something up with Snacks. Absolutely. I've been knowing Josh since he was 3rd or 4th grade and watching him play in my leagues and in my tournaments and stuff, and been watching the kid play for years. I love him. But what I'm saying is absolutely, I think he's probably the best player in the state. But I don't think when you talk about who was second when Monte played, there was a bigger disparity. That's all I'm saying. Like the gap that Josh has, if he's the best player, is not as big of a gap as Monte and Malik had. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think that's valid. And as Malik, let's look at, speaking of Malik Newman, one of my favorite players of all time. I thought that, when I first saw Malik in the 8th grade, I may have said this on the show, I thought Malik would be the next guy to go for 100 points in a game. I really did. I thought he was going to score 100 points in a game. He didn't. But I remember me and Audie Norris on the phone with one of my guys in Indiana, and Audie Norris agreed with that. That's when Audie Norris had a post-grad team down here in Jackson, and Malik used to go over and play against them. And so he's definitely in that conversation.
You know why you're such an idiot, and why that was a retarded statement. And on the surface, I could understand why you would think that, because he was a dynamic scorer. But if anybody watched Malik Newman, Malik would score 40 points or 30 points, and 90% of them would be jump shots. People don't realize Malik scored a lot of tough shots. He took a lot of jump shots. Malik didn't score a lot of easy baskets. Everything was off high screen and roll, ISO, pull-up jump shots. And to score 100 points in the game, EV, you better be getting a bunch of layups. So when Monte scores 70, 80 points, Monte getting to the cup and finishing a lot of easy shots. So I never thought Malik would score 100 points in the game. Just because
I thought he was that type of shooter. I thought he was that type of scorer. I really did. I thought that he would have one of those days. And I really thought about it because of the Monte Ellis and the Hollywood Robinson. I personally thought it was a Jackson thing that somebody was gonna come and they was gonna let him do it. That's another thing too. If you get warm enough, a coach will let you do it. Now, you're talking from a premise of a person who's never scored in a game, period. So you have no clue of what
I can outshoot anybody on this panel right now, including you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you go to a shooting range, that's possible.
Did you freeze up?
I don't shoot a gun. I don't fire guns.
Did he freeze up?
So you probably could. That's a true statement.
Talante, you there?
Yeah, I think you froze.
Cool.
Yeah, he just right now look like a big. You had frozen. Your head. What happened was
I'm be honest. I ain't seen no. I don't know. I might be wrong, but Monte used to bring them out though. Monte used to pack the gyms. I don't know if Josh Hubbard doing it like that.
I don't know.
I know
I don't know if it's y'all phone or my phone.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest though. Certain matchups, well, MRA got a good fan base. Just their culture over there is kind of great with all the sports that they got. So they always pretty much have a good turnout. I think like certain matchups, like they got like some inner city matchups with like when they play the Jackson Preps, the Jackson Academies, Hartfields, those matchups, they tend to pack those gyms out though. But like you say, with the Malik Newmans and the Deshaun's, like they had to move the games from there. They couldn't have home games. They used to have to move them to Forest Hill and bigger gyms. So I can kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, but like we talked about on the show before this, I think it was at the beginning of the year, back in November. Josh Hubbard hasn't had that, that national breakout attention yet. So, but I think he's gonna get it this summer playing on the EYBL. You got to think Malik Newman got his national attention playing on the EYBL as a 10th grader. So when you come in, Malik Newman and
Deshaun Ruffin,
you know what I'm saying? Both of them did that. So that makes a difference because now you got people. Well, if he in town, I got to go see Josh Hubbard play. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen him on YouTube. So it make a difference. It make a big difference.
That's a great point, Talante. Is shoes still with us, man?
I'm right there.
Yeah, but Monte
you missed it earlier.
Monte was putting up national numbers though. Monte was putting up numbers like he had 72 in the game. If I remember,
he was elite.
but he wasn't playing up. That's what we talk about. That turn.
James had what was it? 60? Was it 62? James had.
James Robinson had 66.
66.
Hey, let's not discredit the 46. Well, I know the 60s and 70s and all that's fine, but let's not discredit this 47-piece wing that he had as an 8th grader.
That's big, and that's the thing.
47.
He had 47. Was it an 8th grade or 9th grade? Because I know it was against Gulfport.
9th grade.
It was what?
9th grade.
Yeah, it was against Gulfport with the win, a 6A program. There's no question you can't argue that, and that's why I pinned the question. For high school, first of all, let's go. Let's not get it twisted. One of the things is a different era. For some reason, people don't come out as much as they used to back in the day because I think people have just got so much other stuff to do. They can watch the game on YouTube or it's social media. They just seem like they got more stuff to do. Back then, it just seemed like everybody was just like, man, we ain't nothing to do. We going to the game, and you can fill up a Jackson State or something like that. Like tomorrow, to be honest with you, Murrah at 16-3, even though they're on a 2-game losing streak right now, and MRA, that's a huge game. I mean, Avon Johnson, let's not forget the 52-piece he had this year. So, like, you got a kid you got 2 young people, and I've watched both of them play, and that's gonna be very interesting. Interesting game, and I already told Talante, I would be very shocked if, like, I wouldn't be shocked if MRA won, but I would be very shocked if it wasn't a close game. I really would.
Well,
I think it's gonna go down to the wire.
Well, let's do this, Shoes. I mean, EV, before we go, at least let Talante and Shoes pick the games on tomorrow for the Rumble. And then let's calculate it for the next show and see.
I'm cool with that.
and look, yeah, let's do that and put a little wager on it to get the money to pass.
No, I don't want to put. We don't want to put money on anything. We're not trying to gamble here. So we can just say like, let's go first game. Shoes. Who's the first game?
Hold on, before Shoes.
That's J.A. and St. Andrews.
Who you got? Shoes.
I'm gonna go St. Andrews.
Who you got, Talante?
I'm going with the same one. I'm going with St. Andrews on that game.
Max.
I'm going with the upset, man. I think Cam Beverly and Kraft and Josh Holman got something different to say about it. Give me Jackson Academy.
J.A. Okay. Eddie, you want to go out there or you don't?
No, I'm gonna leave it to the professionals, man, on the board side.
Okay. Who's next, Ed? Who's next, Shoes?
I'm on my
Terry
phone.
and Provine.
It's a
Terry Provine. Who you got?
Terry and Provine. I got Terry.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Provine.
Okay. Who you going with, Snacks?
Provine is on about a 2 to 3 game losing skid. So I'm going with the Rams, man.
So you saying they're gonna come off the thing?
They're gonna come out smoking.
Park Lane, Madison Central.
Madison.
Yeah, Madison Central. I don't think that probably won't be close. I don't think.
Yeah, I gotta go to Madison Central.
MRA Murrah.
I'm gonna go with MRA.
You know I gotta have JJ mad at me, so I'm going MRA. I gotta have JJ mad at me, so I'm going MRA.
I got. Oh, that's tough.
Hey, look. It better be good now.
I'm gonna go MRA in overtime.
Ooh, overtime? Hey,
it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
I hope Avon watching now. Look, we gotta tell Avon now.
Avon is watching. Who over under Josh Hubbard 30 or more, or the Avon 30 or more? Who is most likely to get 30 or more?
I think Avon got something to prove.
Yeah,
I think both of them going over 30.
Yeah, both of them going over 30. They're gonna have to. Both of them gonna go.
I think it'll be easier. I think it'll be easier for Avon to go get his 30, but I think J Hub definitely gonna have 30. But I'm Coach Washington has some great tactics, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a tough 30 for him to go get.
I say neither. I'm gonna jump in on that one. Just that I say neither one of them gets 30.
Neither one of them gonna get 30.
No.
Let me jump in. I think whatever the Rumble record for the most points scored, I think Josh Hubbard breaks it. Whatever the record is, I think he breaks it.
I don't know what that is. We need to look that up.
But I think that should be a good game. I'm saying I know Hubbard gonna probably get off because it's a big court again. I don't know how JJ and them gonna end up playing them. You know what I'm saying? But I think if both teams let each other play, because I'm sure MRA gonna probably run some man to man. I'm sure Murrah would do the same thing. I think both of the stars of that game gonna get off. I think both of them gonna go. They're gonna score some points.
Yeah, I expect that too. I expect both of them to be big.
Look, y'all know I'm big on that shoot. Look, if the coach are watching, man, you want to see a show.
It ain't the coaches, it's the refs. The coaches don't let them play. You ain't got to worry about that. If we need to be
Delonte doesn't like when they run double teams or when they run.
Man, we want to see a show.
Straight up.
Oh, I got you.
Talante, who did you pick, Talante?
I picked MRA to win.
You picked MRA? Okay.
Yeah.
We had Callaway Pascagoula next, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go with
Callaway. Pascagoula struggling.
Callaway been on the streak. They just start figuring it out as a team. So I'm gonna go Callaway too.
Yeah, they look good.
We got all Callaway.
Yeah, they all Callaway with that one. Hey, look, I don't want to be the one to say, you know what I'm saying, last year y'all matched them up with the team from the coast, and you know what I'm saying, you see how that had went. That didn't go too well last year.
Both of them been disappointing so far. But
Right.
Callaway has been playing much better lately. What's
Who
the
we
next?
got next?
Is it Holmes
Nope.
County versus Northwest Rankin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go home.
But you get to pick first. Yeah, I know Northwest Rankin had started off hot. I haven't looked at to see what they've been doing since region play started, but Holmes County looked pretty good. I think they were probably the best defensive team. When they clicking. So they got some big bodies. I'm gonna go with Holmes County.
Yeah, Holmes got a lot of pieces with Lazavius. They got the other kid, Mister, and they got the shooter. What's his name, Talante?
Malik Kriegler.
Yeah.
Kriegler.
And they got a 10th grader. They got a 10th grader or 11th
Man,
grader that's real athletic.
Yeah, they got some body. That's what I'm saying.
They got
They got some pieces.
Yeah.
So we got all Holmes County Central in that. Who's next?
Clinton Harrison Central.
Ooh.
I got Clinton Harris Central. But yeah, let's say this: we just dropped to 9 than it does because I doubt if
Sam hurt, right?
yeah, Sam hurt. So we just dropped to 9.
Yeah, Clinton for sure then. Clinton for sure.
Yeah. Sam, if Sam hurt, Clinton, that's
that
gonna be
old matchup with the C because look, Kimani and Sam play against each other. And Sam has a torn meniscus disease.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. After that, what's the next one? Next one.
Starkville and
Raymond.
Raymond.
I got Starkville.
I know Talante ain't going against Starkville.
See, that's tough. Both of them been. I'm trying to see them. I got to flip one.
Man, give me Raymond.
Okay. Shoes. I mean,
hey, like you said, I can't go against the backyard tag. I gotta go Starkville.
Hey, we need to keep up with these records too, EV.
I got it right here. I got it right here, buddy. And who's the last game of the night?
Forest Hill and Brandon.
No.
That's a tough one too, but I think I'm gonna go with Forest Hill. They look pretty good. I seen them twice this year. First time I seen them, they was missing somebody. Second time I seen them against Tupelo the other week, they look like a whole different team. Like they huge. So I think Forest Hill gonna make some noise this year. I think they might be back in the Coliseum again this year. I go out
When
on
they get all the pieces together, they're gonna be pretty tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're gonna be pretty tough out. I'm gonna go Brandon.
Who you going, Snacks?
Give me George Marshall.
So you ain't
in the
going
Forest
against
Hill
the guy,
Patriots.
huh?
Hey, look, I know we was talking about, you know what I'm saying, the depth perception and all that. I don't think it's gonna matter for George. He's gonna come out there firing.
He gonna shoot from the timeline.
Firing from the logo.
Was that 9 games, EV?
1,
Yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it.
Okay, we got them all.
Well, that's great, man. Let's get ready to close it and give us our geek of the night as we get ready to shut down. Anything that you want to talk about as far as, 30 to 45 seconds, a lot of stuff going on, players, any shout outs to anybody, just whatever you want. You got your opportunity. We'll start with you, Snacks.
Man, really, just shout out to all the high school team. I've been seeing a lot of good things from a lot of programs. And it's been a lot of athleticism, sneaky athleticism in a lot of these games. There's been a lot of guys getting posterized in these games, man. So it's been some exciting games and matchups. So it's just a test to the competitive nature of all the coaches and players. So it's been a good high school season so far.
Talante.
I'll piggyback kind of off of what Snacks said. I think the most two exciting players in the state, they've been carrying us with the highlights. You got George Marshall, he broke the rim and went viral. You had Josh Hubbard with the poster dunk the other night. So I think they've been, the most exciting two in the state this year on the boys' side. But, for the most part, the numbers are getting back high. It seemed like we're back in the same predicament we were in last year this time. So I just tell the teams and players, you know what I'm saying, stay safe so we can finish the season out and get the results we want. Because we don't know who's going to win the championship this year. So I'm eager to see it.
Eddie Young. Dumbo.
Eddie froze up on me.
Dumbo.
I'm not partaking in the your last geek crap tonight. So pass it on over the shoes, man.
Okay, that's fine. Shoes.
Well, earlier I was talking about the Rumble tomorrow, and I ran off a few players, but there are a few other players that I want to mention that that might not work, that not in the Danny Dodson, of course. Jermaine Dixon at Raymond and EJ Eric Payman at Raymond. Those are two guys that we definitely want to look at. Starkville has Miles, but they've also got a few other guys. Now I'm getting the guy name, the 6'5" kid. What's the 6'4" kid, 6'5" kid they got, Delonte?
Who?
The other forward from Raymond. From Starkville.
From Starkville, you talking about Sanavi and Roby?
Yeah, Sanavi and Roby. He's definitely one that to keep an eye on. Might catch some eyes tomorrow. You got the Dixon, the other Dixon kid at Brandon. Harrison. I can't remember Harrison's last name. Harrison at MRA.
Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander. Harrison Alexander's been having a very good season along with Hubbard at MRA, but they've been a great 1-2 punch lately. So it's a big opportunity for him to come out and get in front of some college coaches tomorrow also. So I just, we got to that. It's always exciting to have a lot of the Danny does, but there are a lot of other players that are eye catchers also out there that hopefully that'll catch some eyes tomorrow.
Right. Look, if Avon Watson telling his guy Scott, he gonna have his chance on the big stage tomorrow, man. But he can actually hoop though. He really good.
Yeah, Cortez.
Cortez really I mentioned Cortez earlier. Yeah.
Real quick, before, because I forgot to mention this. Give me your biggest snubs on the Mississippi Alabama game has been set, boys and girls. Give me some of your Eddie. Who are some of your girl snubs that should have been on the list, in your opinion, that wasn't?
Well, every now and then you will ask a good question, and that's a great question, Evie. The 6'5" kid from Tishomingo, Claire Garland, is a huge snub. You know what I'm saying, Talante? I just don't know how in the heck we can how we can pick a team and go over there and compete in Alabama, who keep getting our butts kicked. We have no size, and you got your 6'5" kid at home. So I think of all the snubs, Evie, I'm just gonna give out one. There's several others that you can debate, but I think she is the glaring one kid that should not have been left at home. So,
what about boys? Anybody want to go boys?
Mark Jones for sure.
Mark Jones. That's definitely a name.
Yeah.
Vaughn Johnson.
No, Vaughn is on it.
Oh, that's right. Vaughn
is on it.
That's right. He is on it. He's on it.
Yeah,
to me, probably Nick Christ down at St. Patrick.
Who?
I thought Nick would have made it. Nick
Christ didn't make it?
No, Nick didn't make it.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. That's definitely a huge one.
So probably him and Mark Drone.
Just for the record, Mars' coach got caught up and didn't get him nominated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Mark can get nominated.
So I don't know if he'd have made it or not, but you can't make it if you don't get nominated. So I don't think he could snub. I won't say they snubbed him, but I know Nick was on there and they passed on.
Oh, they passed on Nick.
Yeah.
Eddie, do you want? I'm gonna give you one more chance. I know you have you sometimes when you have a headache, things happen because your head is so huge. So sometimes you make bad decisions. I want to give you your opportunity to have your last gig. Because
I just really wanted to finally go after you, man. So I appreciate that. Can you hear me, Big Head? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Your brain is coming out your forehead, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
Listen, got some really good events that's coming up in March. Our Geeker Showcase. We'll be having it again this year at MRA. We'll be getting some nominations and stuff out to Talkin Hoops in the SIP Showcase. Talante's go hook us up with some even nicer uniforms than last year. I know that was a really good geek.
That's tough right there, man. I've been looking, I've been thinking. I was like, man, I think last year what I did, I say.
Yeah, so happy to have MRA host again. Shout out to them for hosting our event. I'm excited about it, and I think that it's going to be tremendous and even better than it was last year. We're looking to add middle school this particular session. So if you got nominations, parents, shoot those nominations to myself, inbox Talante. On the boys' side, you can inbox EV, and we will be taking nominations over the next couple of weeks.
Can't inbox me. This is, I want to make this clear. This is strictly a Eddie Young and Talante, Weber, talking hoops in the SIP Showcase. I just want to make that
no reels this year. No reels this year.
You said what?
No reels this year.
That's the Eddie Young, Talante Weber. I want to make it for the record. They're doing this. EV's a college coach. He's not doing this. Has nothing to do with it. So don't send me Jack. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Hey, he just a bystander this year, man. He gonna be at the
right.
Yeah. I don't even know. I can't even come to the event, so I won't even be at the event. But where you finished?
I got some too. Me and Talante got a pending showcase that's probably going on in the spring as well. There's possibly we working on getting it done. Once all the guys get back, we're doing like gonna be like a matchup. It's gonna be called like Let's Get Spicy in the SIP, but we're gonna have like a lot of the key marquee matchups that people have been wanting to see. Where it's gonna be like combine style, and then at the end, all the weighted matchups like the Kimani Hampton versus Jalen Reed, the Devin Reed versus the Kimani Hampton. All those matchups. We've been working on that, so that's coming up too.
Also, too, the legends of the SIP camp as well. I think that will be a big event with Hollywood Robinson, Monte Ellis, the legendary Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. And then we got a surprise too, potentially with Toya Thomas. We talked about that shoes the other day. Trying to get Toya. Getting Toya in there. So Toya Thomas, if you ever watched the show, if anybody can, I know Brian's supposed to be reaching out to her. That would be so huge to get her there as well as a special guest. So a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline in basketball in the state of Mississippi. And I'm just honored. I know we joke a lot, but I am honored, man. And I do take this thing very passionately about us and our state. And so it's good that we're able to put events on like this. And I'm just honored to be a part of it, to be honest with you.
Well, again, I appreciate each and every one of you that tuned in tonight. We apologize that we've been off for a little bit. We will try to get back on next week, and if I'm not here, one of these guys are going to do a Talking Hoops in the SIP. Appreciate you guys' support And so we just thank you for all those things. The showcase, make sure March 25th. I think that they're talking about be the 25th and 26th. The legends in the SIP with Brian Adams and and Mahmoud and Hollywood and all those. And I think Monte Ellis is a part of that as well. Will be I think March 14th. 14th. 13th. Is it the 14th? And that's
14th.
The 14th through the 16th. There's during spring break time.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great event. And then again with Snacks and Talante, and we just want to be supporting, all of these great events. And so I'd like to thank you guys for popping on for Eddie Young, Snacks, Lavelle Shoes Johnson, Talante Weber. I'm Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, saying Good evening, good night, and God